Dale Hansen often would go unplugged. I'm about to go unscripted. When I saw the horrific, brutal, bigoted beatings that were taking place at the hands of vicious racists who basically reminded me of what took place during enslavement as slave patrols ran down our sisters and brothers, our ancestors who found themselves simply wanting to be free. You see right there the ugly, horrific, hellified scenes at the border of this country, a country that loves to sing America the Beautiful. May I be real with you? When I saw those images, I was horrified, but I wasn't surprised. I was saddened, but I was not shocked. Why? Because when you have viewed America from the margins, you not only see the possibilities of this democratic experiment, but you also see the ugly realities. This is the same country, after all, that engaged in 250 plus years of the most evil expression of enslavement in the history of this planet. This is the same country that even in the aftermath of enslavement looked for ways to morph oppression, and it found itself in Jim and Jane Crow segregation. The same country that our beloved ancestor, Ida B. Wells, gave her life fighting for an end to lynching, and we still have yet to have anti-lynching laws in this country. This is the same country that legalized through public policy second-class citizenship. It's the same country that targeted black people to be second-class citizens, the same country that to this day has racist zoning policies that result in environmental racism so that we can have in our communities what? Shingle Mountain, so that we can have toxic waste sites and landfills. This is the same country with that ugly history. Yeah, you want to sing America the Beautiful, but we from the margins have seen America the ugly. And so I wasn't surprised. I was saddened. I was horrified, but I was not surprised because I've seen how ugly America can be because America refuses to deal with her original sin of the hostile takeover of this country, of a people of color, as well as the enslavement of black bodies and the great lie that James Baldwin reminded us of. And so I wasn't shocked. I was saddened, because America has yet to learn her lesson. The question is, America, what are we going to do? Mr. President, I turn to you. President Joe Biden, I think you already know. If this had occurred while Trump was president, we would be up in arms and you would have had something to say. I'm still waiting to hear what you have to say. I ain't waiting for no investigation. We saw it. We saw it. We saw it. Hurting Haitians are being treated as if they have no humanity. Mr. President, I got a question for you. Are you going to ride our back or have our back? You claimed after you got elected, the black community has always had my back. But all I've seen is you riding our back. Maybe we need to define for you what it means to have our back. If you're going to have our back, go ahead, use the power of your office to ensure that we bust up the filibuster so we can go ahead and have passed in Congress a strong John Lewis voting rights bill, have passed in Congress. We need right now a strong For the People Act. Mr. President, don't ride our back. Now is the time to have our back because the future of our democracy depends on you having the back of the people who have believed more in democracy than any other people in this country. Mr. President, I want to know, are you going to have our back? But I also want to say a word to those of you who are people of faith, who believe in the Bible, especially my white evangelicals. No, I won't waste my breath. You've never been pro-life when it comes to black bodies, so why would I waste my breath? But I finally close it by saying, America, this empire is on its way down and out because we've got a moral problem that has us corrupted at our core. And we may want to heed the warning that Martin King never got to give. The last sermon he was preparing was entitled, Why America May Go to Hell. It may go to hell because we've been acting like the devil. It may go to hell because we proclaim and praise the God of heaven while creating hell for its citizens of color right here on earth. America may go to hell because America is missing out on what Jesus said when Jesus said, in the end, I'm going to divide the nations and I will separate the sheep from the goats. The nations, that means Jesus is going to judge the nations based on their public policy. And I hear Jesus saying to America, I was hungry and you criminalized poverty. Yeah. I was thirsty and you contaminated water on the side of town of poor people. I was a stranger and you beat me down and treated me like I was inhumane, though I was already hurting. You did the right thing by welcoming Afghan citizens. After all, you spent 20 years tearing up their country. Guess what? You spent 200 years engaged in foreign policy that has torn up Haiti. Y'all don't forget that Haiti and the Dominican Republic are on the same island, yet there are differing infrastructures. Why? Because of foreign policy that built up the Dominican Republic but was determined to tear down Haiti, because you're still mad that in 1803 and 1804 Haiti determined to be a free black people, and you've been paying them back through public policy ever since. And so before all of you highfalutin folk judge the Haitians, don't forget it was the public policy of France and this country and other countries in the West that literally defunded Haiti and made Haiti lack what it lacks right now. So please don't forget that as we hear Jesus close it out by simply saying, and I was in prison and you created the prison industrial complex. Therefore, America, go to hell. Go to hell, because inasmuch as you do it to the least of these, you do it also unto me. America, you may go to hell, but right now you have a chance to repent by doing what you ought to do for those who were suffering right there at our borders.